Shadow Eater, one angry pagan here. How are we? Me? I'm fucking angry. What am I angry about? Right. The UN Security Council in 2000, last year, at the time of Russia's invasion, was, being led by Russia. It's a monthly rotation of presidency. And Russia now have the seat again. That is fucking ridiculous. It's really pissed me off. I get that the UN do their I know the UN tend to do the like to stick with this procedure, but this is bang out of order. So this is from The Guardian. United Nations absurdity to a new level as Russia takes charge of UN Security Council. Fucking stupid. Monthly rotation of presidency of 15-member council has been unaffected by the Ukraine war. So, and this was put out yesterday by Julian Borja in New York. In Ukraine, Moscow, whatever, is pursuing an unprovoked war of aggression. In The Hague, Vladimir Putin is facing an arrest warrant for war crimes. Yeah, I'd like to see that happen. But at the UN, Russia is about to take charge of a powerful international body, the Security Council. Now, I've actually sat and watched several of the sessions of the Security Council. My fucking gods. From Saturday, it will be Russia's turn to take up the monthly presidency of the 15-member council in line with the rotation that has been unaffected by the Ukraine war. The last time Russia held the gavel was in February last year when Putin declared his special military operation, his SMO, in the middle of the council session on Ukraine. 14 months on, tens of thousands of people have been killed, many of them civilians, cities have been ruined, and Putin has been indicted by the International Criminal Court for a mass abduction of Ukrainian children. Yeah, but neither Russia nor the US are subsidiaries or signatures of the International Criminal Court. So, in such circumstances, putting Russia in the driving seat of world body tasked with maintaining international peace and security seems like a cruel April Fool's joke to many, not least the Ukrainian mission to the UN. Not fucking surprised. It's absolutely ridiculous. As the 1st of April, they're taking the level of absurdity to a new level, said Sergei Kuslitsia. So Sergei Kuslitsia, the Ukrainian permanent representative. The Security Council, as it is designed, is immobilized and incapable to address the issues of their primary responsibility, that is the prevention of conflicts and then dealing with the conflicts. Exactly. The representative, Sergei Kislitsia, is just bang on. The ambassador said Ukraine would stay away from the Security Council in April, except in the case of an issue of critical national security interest. Ukraine is not a current council member, though it is often called on to speak on the issues related to the war. Evidently. The US, Britain and France and their supporters on the council are likely to show their disapproval by downgrading the level of their representation at the Russian-hosted events over the course of the month, but no member state is known to be planning to form any form of boycott or any protest or any other protest. The US on Thursday urged Russia to conduct itself professionally when it assumes the role, but said there was no means to block Moscow from the post. The Kremlin said on Friday that Russia plans to exercise all of its rights on the Council. Great. Fucking great. Diplomats at the UN headquarters in New York point out that most of the Council's agenda in April, like any month, is taken up by routine briefings and reports on UN peacekeeping missions around the world. It is important to protect the rest of the Council's work on other files, one European diplomat said. We don't want to disrupt the work that the Council is doing elsewhere because that would allow Russia's invasion to have an even wider impact on the issues of peace and security around the world. Yeah, that might be true, but Russia's already said that it's willing to exercise all of its rights and stuff. This is stupid. The Council Presidency does give the monthly incumbent the power to organise its own sessions, and Russia is planning 3. On the 10th of April, it will hold a briefing on the risks stemming from the violations of agreements regulating the export of weapons and military equipment. That's having a go at the West, at which it is expected to single out the US for its arms supplies to Ukraine and to other allies over recent years. Later in the month, it will chair 2 open debates on effective multilateralism, on the situation in the Middle East, over which its foreign minister Sergei Lavrov is expected to preside. That's the fucking it amuses me. The Russians talking about multilateralism. It really amuses me. The last occasion when a permanent member of the Council carried out an unprovoked invasion was the US on Iraq. The US was not subjected to the humiliation of repeated overwhelming defeats in the UN General Assembly of the kind that Russia has endured over the past year, with about 140 of the 193 member states voting against Moscow's positions, leaving Belarus, Eritrea, Syria and North Korea as Russia's only reliable friends. Russia's Deputy Permanent Representative Dmitry Polyansky denied that his mission was becoming a pariah at the UN. Absolutely not. We feel that the West is embattled in the UN right now because more countries understand our position, Polyansky said, claiming that the Western allies had to water down resolutions and arm twist to get 140 votes. So I think it's rather the West is isolated, but not us in the General Assembly. Really? Your maths is ridiculous. As for Putin's International Criminal Court arrest warrant, Polyansky dismissed it as totally irrelevant to any of our activities. The last time the Russian leader travelled to the UN headquarters was in 2015. Yeah, he's stupid. In the Security Council, the balance of diplomatic forces is less clear-cut than the General Assembly. The division of 5 permanent members, US, UK, France, Russia and China, has hardened considerably, with China regularly echoing Russian talking points in the Council. The 10 non-permanent members are elected for 2-year terms by the General Assembly. Among the current batch, Mozambique, the United Arab Emirates and Gabon have generally stayed neutral over the Ukraine invasion. Brazil is moving into the neutral column. Polyansky said the BRICS group of Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa was drawing closer together, and claimed there were 20 other countries interested in affiliation. If it's true, lovely. Oh, fucking great. But I wonder how true that is. Richard Gowan, the UN Director at International Crisis Group, said that under President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, Brazil was making an effort to engage with Russia and position itself as a potential peacemaker over Ukraine. I don't think Russia has many close allies in the world, but a lot of council members really want to avoid getting caught up in big power games, Gowan said. There is definite sense that a lot of the council members want to shift attention to other crises other than Ukraine, where the UN may be able to do marginally more good. There are no Security Council sessions on Ukraine planned for April. Shock. But 9 members can vote to force it onto the agenda, or members can hold informal sessions on the subject. The glaring council impasse and paralysis of Ukraine has served to elevate the importance of the General Assembly, but few expect it to bring any long-awaited reform to the running of the council established by the victors of the Second World War. More likely, Kuslitsia acknowledged, more everybody will get accustomed to this new level of global hypocrisy. That will be a disgrace, he added, but I think there's quite a chance that may happen. Yeah? And right. Does Russia and China actually have to go on the offensive against us? Just saying. Is there no proactivity here? I get Lula's position, because in terms of Brazil, I do actually, weirdly, I understand the position, because Lula, especially being on the left, being a South American leftist, as you'd be hard to find allies in the West, in the so-called West. But I think, there needs to be a shift, a paradigm shift in the way that the US and the UK do global politics. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, but I'd like to see it. That's idealism. I understand that. But what does everyone think this is? This is fucked with my head. This really has. I get where you had some diplomat saying, yeah, but there's other crises going on. That's a good argument, but at the same time, given what Russia's doing, why do they? There needs to be a way to be able to reform. How? There needs to be a greater movement around reformations, around reforming. It's doing my head in that. Russia goes on this glaringly inhumane mission, and is still allowed to take the monthly presidency of the UN Security Council. I understand procedure and stuff, but surely there has to be exceptions, surely. There's no fucking way that Roosevelt and Churchill, and I don't like Churchill, but there's no fucking way they didn't foresee that Russia would be antagonistic in the future. I mean, back then it was the USS fucking R. Moskva is antagonistic. I'm on the left. I'm a socialist. But does that mean I'm pro-Russia? No. Moskva is antagonistic. I don't know. I just, yeah. That's my thoughts on it. I'm really quite angry about this. And Ukrainian representative Kuslitsia, it's just bang on. It's a new level. It's a new level of global hypocrisy. The UN is literally a joke. At this point, it's a fucking joke. Anyway, this has been Shadowita, one hungry pagan. New world order, everyone. New world order. Blessed are say. God weird say so.